Welcome
to the Marshall Street Podcast.
Hi. Everyone, we're here with B-, your boy, Ben W., Ben Witkowski.
Yeah.
What up?
Your boy. What's going on?
What's good?
Drop that. Can I swear?
Fucking
Drop that
A.
shit.
Ben Witkowski.
Now, listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
You think he senses
I
himself?
know, I'm nervous.
Are you feeling underwhelmed
Do you live in a constant state of nervousness?
or overwhelmed?
I'm nervous for you two.
Or
The
you
beats
just
I'm
whelmed?
about to drop.
Yeah, nice. During the
fair
podcast,
enough.
let's be dropping.
heavy filth.
Nice. So it's going to be a DJ set as well, just straight into
Yeah,
it.
DJ Wowski after B-.
B-. B-. All right, let's
amazing.
actually make some sense. I think that's a good thing to do in a podcast, generally.
It is good.
I think what we're going to talk about today, since you're here, is a little bit of people that have been holding on to music for a while and haven't kind of jumped into it. You yourself, this is kind of your first year of, really jumping into the music game and going forward with stuff that you are holding on to. So I think that's kind of what the topics we'll discuss today. But first of all, just give us a bit of a rundown about who you are and what you do. And
Yep. Hello. I guess music, in terms of music, well, it's always been a part of my life. I started playing piano when I was 7. We've got this wicked grand piano in the family, and I just started playing that and fell in love with music itself. And then in my teenage years, I picked up a guitar, drumsticks. I just tried to learn as much as I could and just kind of surrounded myself in music. It was always my passion and my release. It was my thing. None of my friends did it. It was very close to my heart.
were you kind of looked differently because of that, or?
Oh, nah.
Nah, that's good.
Not really, nah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was just, I never
I definitely was.
Yeah. No, I never played Xbox or anything. I didn't really watch that much TV. I just would always go home and play music. So I started writing songs. I started trying to sing, and then eventually I was like, you know what? I kind of want to share this with the world. And then in the last kind of 2 years, I've thought about doing it.
Yep.
And then in the last 6 months, I've actually started to do it.
Yeah,
and
nice.
now very much on this path.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's the feeling going from, I guess, building a lot of stuff behind the scenes as a lot of artists do? The first 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, you're always learning your craft, whether it's learning drums or an instrument or producing or how to write. And a lot of the time that stuff never sees the light of day. So I guess for you, when you've gone in and you've got some good traction from the stuff you put out, you've been on radio, Spotify's going well, everything's moving forward.
Yeah.
Smashingly, I'd say. What's that feeling in the transition from, all right, this was just an idea to inception to, all right, now I've got a product, putting it out and then going, other people actually relate and resonate with this?
Epic. I've got a business degree, and I think it's...
Well, I dropped out of high school. No need to rub it in. Thanks, Ben.
all right.
I went to TAFE.
Everyone has their own path to success.
Yeah.
So I can't be a teacher?
You can teach the game of life in the streets.
All right, we'll get back to it.
So I've just noticed since I've started to actually make music my life, make it my career, that it is very much a business, and I'm a brand, and the process of it is awesome. I've always wanted to own my own business, and now I kind of do, in a sense.
That's
Fucking oath you do.
Yeah.
Because that's 100% what it is. And I guess in that mind shift, where an artist starts to realize, I am my personal brand, and you are accountable for everything that goes online, everything, whether you like it or not, every story, every post, every tweet, whatever it is, people are going to start to build a perception of you around the stuff that you put out.
Yeah.
And then once you start realizing that, and you can actually kind of maneuver around the content you put out to portray a certain brand, then everything starts to line up, because then you got music that's rolling out that's in line, then you got branding, then you got your personal brand, then you come on podcasts like this. All of a sudden, artists go from what they thought was, I'm just sitting on all these little ideas and threads, and then they're like, once you actually start doing all these little things that are that are pushing together in the same direction, it's like, fuck, now you're starting to build momentum. Now things are fucking going.
Can you give us a bit of a step-by-step kind of process of before you started putting it in? Or like, you know, taking, okay, I need to record a song. I need to play gigs. How did you go about it?
What do you mean?
Like before you had the song in terms of recorded.
Yeah.
You know, and you hadn't played a gig yet.
Yeah.
What was your process there? What did you see as priority and things like that?
Probably the priority was developing my own sound. I thought was the most important thing because I knew I had all these songs. I had like dozens and dozens of like bedroom voice recordings on my phone, and I thought I was kind of looking for my place in the industry. I guess that's kind of how I was looking at it. And so once I really, really worked on just making my sound my thing. And then from there, it was like, okay, well, I need to have, if you want to get into the industry, you have to have a professional recording. Like it has to be good, it has to be high quality.
Yep.
There's so much music out there.
Yep.
There's so many people doing what we're doing. So then it was looking for a studio, which there's this really good one.
I heard the sound engineer. A legend.
Yeah. He has his moments.
Oh, get your hand off it, Daryl.
So yeah, I guess that was kind of the biggest thing for me at the start was get it sounding good.
Yep.
Was there that, when you started to realize that, was that something that was easy for you? Or was there a bit of internal struggle of like, because I know a lot of artists, they'll think, to be honest, they know what they should do, but when it comes to actioning that and stepping out of that comfort zone, that's when a lot of people will hit those speed humps. So they might be just so used to writing songs in their room, bedroom recordings on their phone, and they've got all these tracks built up, and in their head, they're like, cool, the next step is to go to studio, or the next step is to get out into the industry. But for whatever reason, there's a roadblock there because they haven't done it before, so it's a new action, they're not comfortable. Was there any sort of that with you? Or when you had that moment where you're like, cool, now I can just go and do it?
No, huge amount of self-doubt. I've always had it and still have it now. And I think a lot of people that just like their music is only in their bedroom at the moment would still have that because you just constantly doubt your talent and your ability. It could, especially if it's something personal to you, the thought of bringing that to not just other people, but music professionals, it's quite daunting, and quite
thing.
scary.
Do you think that could be because you're in your mid-20s, that is, you haven't done it since you were 15 and things like that? Like, does that change things, do you think? Or do you think people can have that thought at any time?
I think people can have that thought at any time, really. I think there's definitely a shift in doing music for yourself and then doing music for like your career.
Right.
And getting it out there. There's in terms of the mindset. So like if you're just jamming and making stuff in your bedroom, then that's cool. That's all it like needs to be, and it's kind of your thing. Yeah. And you don't really
It's
mind.
like a hobby.
Yeah. It's a passion. A hobby. Yeah. And
Which
then
is fine. There's nothing wrong with it being that.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And for so long, I was like, I never want to make music my life because I don't want the joy to go out of it.
Yep. And even just that is a great conversation to have with yourself. There's a lot of us who don't have that kind of outlook on it.
Yeah, you got to be prepared because it's hard work.
Yeah, it's a lot of hours.
It's a lot. Yeah. So yeah, the mindset of being in your bedroom is just like, yeah, this is mine, whatever. But
I think potentially because it's like you pick up a guitar and you play. There's fuck all else to it.
It's
and you're
freedom.
just having fun.
Yeah.
Even if you suck, no one's hearing it. Like, it doesn't matter. You're just like jamming and it's all good.
Yeah.
But then as soon as it comes to other people are going to hear me, there's like this, okay, I've got to be good.
Yeah. And people can be so quick to judge music. Like, I know if I don't like a band, I'm just like, oh, nah, shit.
Yep.
But now I've changed that because now I'm like, I actually really respect their talent. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just not something I am interested in. But like the consumer, it's just like, nah, it's rubbish.
Yep,
I don't want to listen to it. And they skip it.
Or they're like even further as they like go to abuse that person that they've never met. It's like you don't know them.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What? I would never do something like that in real life. I'd never be like, you're a fucking loser because of your likes. It's like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
It honestly defies belief. It baffles me so much. Because you're doing something creative and you're doing something cool, and people just shoot you down because it's not their taste, which hasn't happened to me yet.
Yeah.
Sort of.
It will.
Yeah, it sort of
I mean, you
has,
suck, so.
Well, that goes to my next point is bringing it to you guys. When I bought the demo, I was so scared because I was like, these are actual people that are going to critique my style. And, you know, sometimes I play guitar out of time. That's not, well, you're not supposed to do that if you want to be a music professional. And so
that's like an interesting mindset as well, because people think that you need perfection. But as I've gotten older and produced more things and listened to more music, you kind of start to understand that perfection is, you can never get anything perfect. There's always more that you can do with something. And two, the imperfections are what make people and what make you stand out compared to someone else. Like,
the other thing is, we're not here to make a perfect art. We're making music. Like, if your ears and your emotion and your heart tells you it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the fucking lights or the levels or this and that. If it fucking resonates with you, if you listen to that song and you're like, fucking Christ, I felt that.
Yeah.
That job's done.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what fucking gear it went through or if you used the right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the two sort of biggest things. I mean, I haven't done this for very long, but the two biggest things I've kind of noticed is the perfection, like attitude shouldn't exist. To an extent, yeah, of course you want to make it sound good, but just get it out there and just do it.
You want it to be...
Move on.
Yeah.
You want it to be as good as it possibly can be in that moment.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're constantly striving for more, that's a good thing. But if you're constantly striving for more out of one thing, you'll never release it or you'll never finish it.
Yeah, you want it to be you.
Yep. And even that, like, that's not just something that exists in creatives and musicians. There's a lot of people who run businesses that way. It's kind of the mindset of getting into busy work. You're always busy. I don't have fucking time. Oh, man, I'm always doing this. Fuck, I've been on this EQ. Fuck, dude, I was processing this snare for 3 days. It's like, you're a fucking idiot. But it's like you get into this mindset of busy work rather than completion-orientated work. So it's like, all right, why am I doing these fucking 20 hours of mixing? Is it to mix or is it to finish the track?
Yeah.
Like, once you get into, all right, outcome-based work, right? Let's finish this song. Let's finish the next song. Then things start ticking up. And then before you know it, you've left a trail, which are all bookmarks along the way of your skill level, where you've been, your fucking experience at that point in time. Then come 2 years, you look back and you're like, fuck, look at that. Look at this journey. Look how much I've grown, I've changed. Like, fuck, I remember when that was... Because the stuff you look back on, it's always going to be the early stuff.
Yeah.
No matter how good you think it is, in 5 years, if you look back on the stuff you released today and it blows your mind... You've stopped advancing. You've stopped moving forward.
Yeah.
So with that sort of mindset, you should be stoked. Cool, I'm going to do this to the best of my ability with the skills, knowledge, and experience I have today, knowing full well in 2 years I'll look back on it and I'll be a lot better.
Yeah. Well, the other thing with all that, from a business perspective, as a customer, you want to see that. That's cool. That's seeing the growth and seeing the development is awesome.
100%.
And it will make people connect with you more because you're real.
And all the other little things that artists want, like label deals or they want Spotify playlist or all this stuff, guess what? They're the things that labels look for. They look for, can this person, are they self-motivated to go out and do it on their own? All right, cool. So we don't have to dangle a carrot of money in front of them for them to do it. Have they shown the journey? Have they shown progress over the last 4 years? Fuck, they've put out all this stuff. I can actually track it. Nowadays, with all the analytics you got from Spotify and the back end, people see everything. We have access to every bit of data. If you've left that trail there, that journey, fuck, it's a lot easier for a label to come and pick you up and go, fuck, dude, I've seen your journey. I've seen you do it on your own. Imagine what happens when we team up and we can pour fuel on this fucking fire. As opposed to the artist who sits there and goes, oh, I've been working on this song. I can't wait for the label to pick me up and then I'm going to be good. Man, once I get this backing, fuck, then I'm going to put in the work. It's like, you've got to bring it back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So go back to what your feelings when you were like bringing it here.
Well, yeah, so there was that fear, which was quickly kind of eradicated, to be honest. And then it is very much in the mindset of like, let's just do it. Let's just smash it out and just get it done because it is what it is. It's me right now. I mean, I like it,
Yeah.
which is good.
Well, I didn't have to touch it really.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we did a couple of arrangement things with your first track.
Yeah.
Mountain Man, for those out there playing at home.
Yep. Fucking dope
by
track.
Ben Witkowski. Ben Witkowski, Mountain
Pronounce
Man.
the T and the K. Witkowski.
Yeah.
Witkowski.
So yeah, I mean, we literally cut out a couple of instrumental sections and we didn't really rearrange it because your songs don't follow the standard verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, end. They don't follow that. They're more of like you're going on like a journey. It's, for lack of a better term, you're starting somewhere, you're finishing somewhere, you've gone through things. It's literally like a mountain.
Yeah.
You know, you're up a mountain, you're down a mountain. You know, you see the valleys, the water, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, yeah, we didn't have to touch that that much.
Thanks for describing features around a mountain.
I feel like I just went on a scenic walk through the Alpine region.
See? That's what it's all about, guys. And that's the end of our podcast.
Tune in next week to Scenic Walks with Stuart Watts.
Do this whilst walking.
Guys, I quit. I'm going on a walk. All right. Sick. So you finished recording?
Yeah.
Then what was priority?
Working out what to do.
And
Yeah.
like, how did you?
Yeah. I just looked at every possible resource that I could. Podcasts, blogs. I looked at other artists and went back in time in their kind of development, and I was like, what did they do at their first song?
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, and kind of mimicked what they did. I obviously put it on distribution on the label, that kind of thing. And from there I was like, well, this is not enough. You need to actually get people hyped about it. So then I looked into marketing. I was like, okay, I can do this. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Not the best at content, but again, you just do what you do. Just get it out.
To the best of your ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of, it changed from this whole process. It was so little about the music, and it was more about the awareness, the exposure, the hype, the buzz, getting people to actually connect with it before it was actually out, which I thought went really well.
I thought it went great.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, even that, there's a guy we know, Claudio, who he said the time he listened to it, he was in fucking tears. That's a pretty powerful thing to have a first song released. When someone listened to it, they're like, fuck, dude, this literally took me to that emotional state where I was in fucking tears.
Yeah, I've had a few tears from it. I've had 2 people who I don't know say that they cried.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I think has been really intense. And maybe we'll talk about this later, but you can't look at the numbers when it's out, which I do, but you can't use
that. Well, you can look at them. You can't use that as a basis for success or failure.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
And especially
And
earlier
that can't
on.
let that stop
Yeah.
you either.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like people, if you let it stop you, you're not in music for the right reasons at that stage.
Yeah, but in the 24 hours that it post release, I had so many personal messages of people being like, I felt something through this.
Awesome.
Thank you. And I was like, that's all you need.
Exactly
to
right.
want
That's
to keep
it.
going.
That's
Yep.
success.
Yeah.
Fucking oath.
Yeah.
That is the point of it. Numbers come, numbers follow that.
Yeah,
Those emotional
It's a byproduct. Yeah.
They come. You keep making people feel that, the world will come to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't want people at my gigs all crying the whole time.
No, but
can.
it's
I mean, that's not up
yeah,
to you either.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
correct. And it's because you never know the 15 minutes prior to someone listening to your song, what happened,
Yeah.
what emotion that brought up. Just from the words that you use, they could unintentionally spark a memory in someone's mind of someone who used to use that phrase. It's there's stuff we're not in control of. But if you're having that, if they're getting to the point of tears, that means it's bringing emotion. So you're actually connecting to them. A lot of people who say, or who don't listen to pop music, they're like, oh, it's cheesy, it's repetitive, there's a cookie cutter. The reason they all feel that way is because it doesn't stimulate those emotions. It doesn't get down to their deep cores. It doesn't give them
gives
something.
them a different response.
This is repetitive. Anyone can do this. Not anyone can make you feel those feelings to bring someone to tears.
But I would say the people that really love that sort of stuff love it for a different reason. There's a different emotional response. People that love pop music is because it's reliable. It can make you, feel pleasant, I guess would be a word. It's inoffensive. Usually if it's dancey pop music, it's got a groove that makes your heart beat at a certain rate, gives you good endorphins. So there's other reasons for people to like that style of music. and it's still giving them an emotional response. But for the people that don't like it, it's not giving them the right one that makes them feel good. And everyone's different in that regard. Anyway, so cool. So your first song did pretty well. You know, you got some international airplay. It's still kind of happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
100%.
happening. I think it's a good thing.
What did you learn? What were some kind of real takeaways you learned from your first release in the distribution marketing of that? You're now going through a second single. So what are some takeaways that you learned that you're going to implement into your second release? And also if there's anyone listening who they're maybe just about to make that transition from bedroom, they're like, cool, I've either got this recording or I'm going to, but I didn't even think that this marketing was a side of it. I thought the music was it. And now you're just kind of opening their mind to all these other aspects. What are some things that you learned from this first release that you could part on with them?
The first question in terms of the release of the song, I think the biggest lesson I've got is that act like you're doing it for one person, because the people that connect with it are the people that care, and not everyone's going to care. And you just have to be really realistic and pragmatic about it, that like if one person says something good about it, that's why you chose to move out of your bedroom.
Yep.
It's because you wanted people to connect with it, and one is enough. And act like you're doing it for one person. Then with all of your marketing, it becomes personalized, and that person feels like
That's cool.
they're
It's for
connected
them.
with you.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
What else?
The second question, what was it again? Hang on, it was
Marketing.
it was-
If that's
yeah.
important.
So, well, it's what we learnt at university. You might want to sit out for this bit.
Actually, could I just get some pens and paper out?
And then scrunch them up into a ball and throw them at another kid.
Throw it at me, the dork.
All right, come on. So what did we learn at university?
Yeah, so-
Mr. College graduate.
So if you're going to be doing a master's soon, if you're doing a business, if you're starting a business, you have to go back to why. You always have to, every question you do, everything you do has to answer the why. And so in terms of like a musician, if you want to change from the bedroom to the world, and you get to a thing with the marketing and you're like, I don't know how to do this. This is too hard. I can't be bothered. I give up. You have to go back to why you want to release it to the world. Do you want to connect with that one person? Do you want your music to mean something to other people? And if you do, then you have to put in the work to understand how to do that little process that you might not know how to do.
Yep.
So what was that for you? What was the why for you?
I know everything. What was the why for me?
To get to play it to one person.
Oh, as in, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
What was the why behind your marketing?
That was his why, to play it to one person.
Well,
Weren't you listening to the podcast?
My why is that
It's deeper than that.
it's at the end of the day, this is pretty deep. I wanted something that would last longer than me.
Okay.
Legacy.
Yeah.
That's why we're all in this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, if all else fails and there's nothing else that happens with my music, I've got stuff that I can show my kids one day and be like, your dad did that.
Yep.
And they'll be like, no, he didn't.
100%.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
definitely
you can
have those
fail at
feelings.
shit that you're not happy doing. May as well give something that you like doing a shot.
Yeah. I would never forgive myself if I didn't give this the best go possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think a lot of artists and people in general have that about something. They have that feeling, but it takes something for something. It takes an external force or listening to a podcast or watching whatever it is for them to take action. And a lot of times they will eventually do it, but the easier people you can just get them to snap out of their old behavior habits and go, fuck, all right, what's worse than fucking the next year or 2 years of late nights and hard work? Fuck getting to 40 and having regret. Like getting to 40 and 50. And these days we're going to be living fucking longer and longer. Like, fuck, I'm still going to be thrown down when I'm 40.
Yeah, I
When
think
you
we
get to
were
40
talking about this yesterday or the day before, and it's like there is absolutely no excuse these days in ignoring individual people's circumstances. Obviously, some people have shittier lives than others through no fault of their own, upbringing, like living conditions, whatever. But we are pretty lucky to live in Melbourne, Australia. And the things that we have available to us, realistically, there's not really any excuse for anyone to not follow a passion, a dream.
There's no reason to do shit that you don't enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, if your Monday to Friday is set up so that you get to Friday night and you're pumped and you hate Sunday, then there's something fucking broken. Like, there's with everything we have available, we have the internet. There's going to be people, like, look at what we're currently doing. We're sitting in the room talking about fucking music and this will go out to the world. That's ridiculous. Like, we are living in a time when the possibilities are endless. You have the opportunity. Everyone has an at-bat. Everyone has a chance to follow something. If you wanted to go and be a fucking downhill mountain bike rider, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can go on the internet, find who are the big players in that game, in your city, in your country, get a fucking bike, go start practicing, get good, and you can open doors. You can.
Yeah.
But people, they often, and I mean, usually over the age of 18, the only way people learn is through massive trauma, unfortunately. So it usually it's like someone has to get told they're going to die, or they have a friend pass away before they're like, fuck, I need to get my health in order. So unfortunately, it takes massive trauma for us to shake up our ways. But fuck, if people can just get this mindset early and just go, man, I hate my fucking job.
Chase what you want. Chase your passion.
And then let's be practical. Like, fuck, I'm not telling anyone to go out and quit your job tomorrow. There's rent, there's food you got to fucking do if you've got a family that supports. Let's be practical. But you have the ability to go and work 9 to 5, to pay rent, to pay food, to make sure everything's good, spend time with your missus or your family at night. Then from 7 p.m. till midnight, spend time on the internet, networking in a field that you want to one day work in, and build it over time. You can do 5 hours of solid work on the internet, Monday to Friday, that doesn't cut into your day job, that's not going to affect you fucking being able to pay rent. And in 2-3 years, you might be able to make a move from a job you fucking hate now into one that you actually enjoy doing. And that path is not always linear. I thought 10 years ago I was going to be a performer. I'm not. I fucking haven't performed in 2 years. I haven't made any tunes, but I'm happier than ever. Like, I get to work in the music industry. Along that way, I found that business was something that I really fucking enjoyed. Now I just get to work at something that I'm good at, that I like, which is business, in a field that I love, the music industry. Like, if I was running an electrical business, I would have been a hell of a lot fucking more miserable doing the same shit, but I get to be around the people I want to be around the craft I want to be around, and you're fucking happy. Like, it's waking up is fun because you get to kind of come to a studio and hang out with artists and talk about fucking releases and do podcasts with fucking people like you.
I remember the second part of the question that you asked was, what will you apply to your next release? Not to cut you off, and that was a very insightful 5 minutes. That really was. Like, I think that's
awesome.
I had that as well. I'm like, okay, I've tried this before. I'll get back to you. I've tried this before, like 5 years ago. I was recording. I worked at another studio. I didn't have the mindset back then that, right, okay, this is your life. Now I do, and I know now. But anyway, go forth with what you will do this release, as opposed to, things that you learned from
the first one.
Yeah, well, I'll just quickly touch on that. No, just because I think there's a spark in everyone, but I don't think it's necessarily everyone's fault that they don't always go for it. Like, 100%. Society can be a real pain in the ass.
Hugely.
And that for people that are creative, we're very fortunate that we have that outlet, if we can like tap into it, to like chase the passion, and that can actually help other people who perhaps don't have that creative outlet to then really see the light.
Definitely.
Like, let's do it.
And I mean, even Raya, the artist that I work with, every week she'll get an inbox, or whether it's on Facebook or wherever, of people saying that she's saved their life through her lyrics and music. Like, so creatives, if you do think you've got it in there, like, there is people that can help.
That's reason enough to do what you want to do.
Definitely.
So for my next release, there's just a lot of little things. I just want to be a little bit smarter with how I prioritize things, because at the moment I've got a list of like 300 things I want to do with music, and I need to kind of clear it all out and be like, all right, how do I actually step by step get this? So by this time next year, I've done everything I wanted to do, and the releases are a part of that, and I think post-release, I kind of struggled in the last song. I didn't really know what to do once the song was out. There's only so many times you can say, hey, stream it, chuck it on a playlist.
Yeah.
So I really want to look into creating really good content around it, particularly video content, so people can connect with the song. You're not actually saying, go and stream it. You're just creating something that they can...
Yep.
They can...
Insights, things of value.
Yeah. And then just something that makes them be like, oh, yeah, that's what this song means to me. Or it kind of helps them, guide them to say that's what that song means to me. And then they go and listen to it naturally. So, yeah, probably more... That's probably the biggest takeaway is after the song's out, you got to work out a creative way to get it in people's face over and over.
Yeah.
Without
100%.
just saying, here it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you've got to find a way for the spotlight to stay on you for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Like the internet is always moving. If you think that you can just, like the extreme would be, all right, I'm just going to release a song with no promo, no lead up, no wrap up campaign, nothing. I'm just going to put a song on the internet. The spotlight will only be on you for like fucking 30 minutes.
The second that they listen to it.
That one bit, that's all you're going to get. If you have a fucking 4-week lead-up campaign where you're on blogs, you're on radios, you're doing podcasts, you're talking about this release that's coming up, you then might have a nice street campaign where the cover is going to be plastered around Melbourne. You can then, the song gets dropped, you then have a wrap-up campaign where you're going on interviews, you're doing blogs, talking about what the song means to you, how the process. If that whole thing goes for 8 weeks, then you found a way to keep the spotlight on you for that release for 8 weeks. And I guess in this day when the internet just continues to move, because there's so much content being put up every second, the internet's a moving being. It's not a set and forget type of machine. The longer you can keep that spotlight, the longer you can keep relevant, the better chance you have of more and new people finding your music. And at the end of the day, that's all the marketing campaign is done. The idea is to get some eyes on you so that your music, your craft can do the work from there.
And I think two sides to that coin as well is one is creativity, and that's probably the hardest part. I think I struggle with post-campaign stuff as well, and the post-campaign is harder, but it's also the more rewarding part because your song's already out. So creativity of what that content looks like is really difficult. So you really do have to sit down and think of all the different ways that you could possibly showcase your song. In video content, picture content, audio content, you might do something where like you have the master files and you isolate the vocal and you go, hey, here's how the vocal sounds without music. Something cool like that people don't really do. There's all these different things. So creativity is one, but the other thing is with interviews and podcasts and all that sort of stuff is you're trying to access markets that you don't currently have. So it's like, how do I get my music in front of people that wouldn't have heard it prior to me doing this action? So just being on your social media and stuff, if you're not, promoting that release or anything like that, you're not doing paid promotions, you're only showing your bubble who already know who you are. That's not saying that everyone's going to listen to your song either, but the more ways that you can access different markets, that's really kind of the avenues that you want to take. Spend time trying to go, okay, I haven't accessed that listenership yet. I haven't gone on that video yet. I haven't gone on that interview, podcast, etc.
Yeah, it's a big one because you put your song out on Spotify whenever and it's available to 175 million people that have Spotify, but it doesn't
guarantee shit.
Yeah. You gotta be a bit smart about where you actually target people to listen to it. And I don't know if this is the right thing, but what I did once after 4 or 5 days or about a week after Mountain Man was out, I looked at all the analytics and I looked at there were some countries that were Austria. Shout out to my Austrian fans. So I looked at where the countries it was kind of going in and even cities in Australia. And then I did paid ads on social media to friends of friends from that country, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I thought the narrower, I know it's kind of maybe not the right thing, but the narrower I make it, the more chance people will actually kind of try and engage with it, because you're not just putting it out to the world.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of right, I think.
I think the more niche you get, the likelihood of you obtaining one super fan is higher.
Yeah,
it also depends on that, where you got that initial data from. Like if you said that's going from friends of friends, you could have a contaminated bit of data because that friend, it might not be their music style,
Yeah,
but
well,
you're honing it off that.
Yeah, so that's the other one I did was you looked at the bands that those people were listening to, which I worked out from like a pre-save link. So you got to see what those people were listening to, and then you kind of find your like music community online. And then I started targeting people that had liked those bands on
Well,
Facebook.
that's
And
really
the
good
other-
analytics, I
Yep.
think.
And then the other thing, as we tell fucking artists to do, is to start your email database. So if you have an email database for any artists who actually go out there and proactively get emails, say you've got an email database of people that are actually your fans, not just your friends and family. Like this is one you've got at shows. You've got an email database of fans. You can put that into Facebook, and it will find the information on those people. You can then create a lookalike audience where it extrapolates those people over a bigger sample size, and Facebook goes, hey guys, these are the people you know are your fans of their emails. Guess what? Of some similar behaviors, these people will also probably be your fans. And then if you're using that to then go, all right, if that is our now lookalike audience, let's then put that in Sweden, in Norway, wherever the fuck it is, and you've now got behaviors and behavior patterns of people that you know are your fans that you're working off.
Yeah, and I guess going back to the overall topic, if you are wanting to take that step of taking your music from the bedroom to the world, this is like pretty specific what we've been talking about, but it is important to understand that it matters, and like if it's a bit too daunting right now, there are so many resources out there where you can find out how to do this, and you
I
can
think
get help.
every step that you take, you see that the step wasn't as hard as you thought it was.
Yeah.
Once you've done something, and even if it was hard, you now know that skill for next time. So the next time you do it, it won't be as difficult.
Yep.
And hopefully, if you've learnt from it, you've gathered data and stuff like that, you'll be making your job easier every single time that you do that. And the next time that something's new, that'll be the new hard thing to do, and that'll be the other thing that you learn. There's always something that you can learn from every action that you take.
Yep. And then you're always getting better. Then your marketing gets better, your release strategies get better, your music's getting better, you fucking interviews get better, everything just gets better. And then combine that with patience, having the fucking audacity to go, oh, cool, I've got big ambition, I'm going to dream big, but I know it's going to take me fucking 7 years to get there. Then going and executing on that for 7 years, and fuck, your people will get closer than they think.
Yeah, realistically, you're going to need a minimum of 5 years. If anyone that's really starting up right now and expecting that something's going to happen in the first 4 years, it's really difficult. So you have to play the long game.
That's the mindset of saying, all right, I'm going to start playing Powerball to be a millionaire. Like, that's the equivalent. Hey, I'm not saying it hasn't happened. It has.
Of course.
But if that's your strategy, I'd say for the whole, don't be surprised when it
difficult.
fails.
Yeah.
And even that, like just the mindset, playing this, because even I was talking about this before, actually with artist coaching. I was like, we were talking about Instagram and kind of fucking different strategies about how to kind of hack it and get more. And I was like, man, I'm going to be here for the next fucking 20 years. Like, I'm playing this bigger than fucking. I'm going to be like, I'm never going to stop. Like, I don't have that finish line of like, once I get this and this, then fucking then I'm done. It's
If
like,
it hasn't happened in a year, that's it. I'm giving
it's
up.
like I'm just
Why?
gonna be more persistent than fucking everyone. But once you get in that, then there's a lot of people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what you can do in 10. If you have a 10-year plan about your music and then you can fuck it up till Sunday for the first 3 years. You can fuck up the first 3 years where you're like, man, I didn't release this and I didn't
As
promote
long as you're
anything."
learning.
Yeah, and then guess what? You still got 7 years to get shit back on track and keep going.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're going, oh, right, fuck, I read an article about fucking Post Malone blowing up, so I'm going to put all this undue stress and pressure on myself to do that. Fuck, it didn't, so now I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Now I've got anxiety. Now I've let fucking my mental state deteriorate purely because I've put bullshit expectations on myself.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm no expert. I've only released one song, but so I'm not that much further ahead than these theoretical people that we're talking about. But that's why I think the mindset of do it for one person is really good, because you're still doing everything that you would do to try and make it. You still have to do everything. You have to market, you have to distribute, you have to come up with a good sound, you have to gig and everything. But if you just plan like you're doing it for one person, it kind of eases the stress on the numbers and trying to be bigger than you are. You're not bigger than you are. And that word hack that you said before, it's absolutely everywhere in like the music industry.
Yep.
How to hack Spotify's
Yep.
editorial playlist, how to hack social media, Instagram's algorithm. Just
bullshit.
You can't get worked up in it. I know I want to, but
it's
you
human, but
just can't. You just have to.
It's like how to hack fitness, get a six-pack
Yeah,
without working
yeah,
out.
right?
It's like
No.
people buy into this because they don't want to do the work, and then they complain when they don't get the results.
Yeah, it is marketing for dummies.
Yeah.
Like it is like, okay, I am going to achieve this thing that people think is easily achievable when it's actually not. It's hard work.
Yeah.
You have to admit that. I think when people go for shortcuts in life, in business, in music, you're not going to, well, if you get it, it's a one-time thing and it's not going to be the thing that you actually want.
And also, if that, it's a lot, this
Hard
comes
work.
back to that why. If you don't know your why, that hard work is going to look a lot harder. If you know why you're doing it, if you know why you're going to the gym, if you got told by a doctor that you're going to fucking die and you're like, damn, I need to get my ass to the gym.
So
you
that
know
I
your
don't
why.
die.
Suddenly
If you
that
haven't
hard
died-
work that was a week ago of you getting out of bed early, when your alarm goes off, you're like, it's not that important, I can fucking do it. Suddenly you're like, fuck, nah, I'm going to the gym, I know why.
'Cause I don't wanna
You've got
die.
that fucking why.
Yep.
When you don't really believe it, and again, if that why is bullshit, if you made that why, all right, because I want to be rich, but you don't really want to be rich. If you've made up a fake why that you don't resonate with, that isn't in line with your core values, you're still going to find the work fucking hard because you're chasing the bullshit fucking reason.
And I think starting small is also like advice that I would give. It's like, go for the small wins. The small wins are the more important ones because they will, they're slightly easier to tick off. You know, they all lead to something else. But the small wins will give you that, I can do this. Mm-hmm. I set this small goal. I ticked it off.
Yep.
Sick. I'm on the right track. And then
Yep.
you just keep doing those small wins. They will build up. People will start seeing you. It'll lead to bigger and better things.
Definitely.
100%. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, that was good.
Nice.
Any other takeaways, Ben? And even on that, before you get a chance for some takeaways, like you mentioned before that you were just early on this, I think, and Stu can probably vouch for this, the transformation in, I guess, your mindset and kind of attitude, which comes through in even how you hold yourself from when you first came in to a single till now, is fucking huge. So like just getting artists to start on this path, just like if you think, and again, if you just like doing music as a hobby, that is fine. And recognizing that is one of the best things fucking creatives can do. But if you've got that thing inside of you where you're like, fuck, I want to do this, or you've been putting it off and you know yourself that you've got it in you to change gears, to move up from where you are. If you know you've got it, then it's like, fuck, man, just take that first step because things get easier, things change, and they can change quickly if you fucking, you hang out with the right fucking herd.
But yeah, it's a huge fun. I remember the first time I came here, I hired a room to rehearse in, and I was so nervous because I was like, oh God, what if they hear me? And then you walked in actually, and you were like, I'm going out to the shops. Do you want anything? And I was like, oh God, he just heard me sing. That's so embarrassing. I sound like shit. And then I remember at the end of the day, you were like, what do you want from music? And I was like, I want it to be my life. But I had no idea how to do that. But if you surround yourself with the right people, oh man, you can do anything. So yeah, if you are looking to take that step, you will never know unless you try. You have to try, and you get yourself in the community, and this community in particular. It's a good studio.
But I think the confidence thing is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lack of confidence you have before you start, you do little things, it gets easier, you get more confident, you realize that everyone in the world is struggling. Everyone is trying their hardest to do their best. Mm-hmm. Even the best people in the world are struggling with different things. Just know that. And then, once you actually do those little things and you tick them off, you just feel that confidence. It snowballs.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
It's not linear. It's like exponential. Like it snowballs.
And then that just helps, eradicate that imposter syndrome because like you said at the start, you felt daunted bringing it in. You're like, fuck, here are these people in the industry, whatever. It's like once you go through that process a couple times and you build your confidence, all it is just recognizing the value that you bring to the table. And once you've had that reflected back, once you've had enough people go, fuck, dude, that was dope, man. Ben, thanks for coming in, man. Hey, thanks for that guitar. Like, when you have enough people doing that, you start to hold yourself. You're like, cool, I do have value to bring to here. I do have knowledge to impart. I can help someone else on their journey. And then the little voice in your head that tells you that you're fucking a piece of shit and you don't have confidence, suddenly they quieten down because you're surrounded by people who value you, what you bring to the table, and you also value yourself.
Nice. Good stuff.
So
Really
I think that
positive
was it.
podcast.
Yeah, that was
I
a
feel
good one.
enlightened.
Yeah.
I
was
feel
good.
whelmed.
Yeah, climb that mountain, Stu.
I'm super whelmed.
And now before we go, do you want to plug your song? Where can everyone find you? Socials? What do you got?
Yes, my song is called Mountain Man by Ben Witkowski. Or Witkowski, if we're... and it's available on all good streaming platforms. Ben Witkowski Music is my handle on all social media. I say all. I don't have all of them yet. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a story of
a man who tried.
Of a self-discovery.
Let's just read the whole lyrics.
Yeah.
Let's just read the whole song's lyrics.
It's pretty relevant to the podcast. And just if we're still going on the plug, why not? This is my time now. I got 9 songs in the works that are going to come out in 2020.
Awesome.
So there's work to
Perfect.
The next track is Large. We're working on it currently.
Yes.
Nearly finished the final mix. It's going to be out very shortly.
Yes.
I love working with you. Your music's sick.
Attitude is dope.
Yeah,
So much better than Stu's.
Yeah.
Thank
Shit's
you.
all over mine. Yeah, big time. No,
All right.
thank you, mate.
Thank you very
you.
much.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yep.
We will
Yes,
see you
thank you.
next time.
Enjoy.